this Google Analytics alternative SaaS homepage had all of the right ingredients: sharp design, clean layout, solid offer, but it was trying a little too hard to be clever when clarity would have converted. And in this clarity jam, we dig into how to make their niche of lean marketing teams impossible to miss, why powered by AI doesn't actually mean anything anymore, and how a simple founder-led explainer video could instantly boost trust and conversions. Let's get into it.
My name is Omar Thor Omarsson. I'm the CEO and co-founder of Optise. We're based here in Reykjavik, Iceland. We're an AI website analytics solution dedicated to helping B2B companies all over the world sell more on their websites by delivering a great, freaking awesome website that also sells more.
One of my favorite things about now doing this clarity jams, and I think when the time of recording this means you'll be about episode 40 or 50, is the fact that I get to interview awesome founders from all over the world. And I think you're the first person who I'm interviewing from Iceland, if I could be wrong, if I could be mistaken. So that's awesome. But tell me about how you kind of came up with the idea for this company.
That's it. Great to hear. It's we're not many of us over here, only 350,000. So not many companies to compete with, but there's a bubbling startup scene here now and very innovative. So I came up with this idea. I've been in B2B as a marketeer and a founder for 15 years. I've been a CMO, marketing manager, VP, punching bag. I even ran a B2B agency for a while. I have had a conference here in Iceland called Leads for a few years. So all dedicated to B2B and marketing and websites. And after being responsible for the marketing arm of a B2B company, you quickly realize that the website is just incredibly important for lead generation. It's also just kind of where everything comes together. You got your product, you got your brand, you got your messaging, your positioning, your user experience, your content, all of it comes together on the website. So it's kind of a tricky place, but it's very important to get it right. And after being responsible for it with multiple websites for B2B companies, I just kind of figured out that yes, it's super important. So I better make it the best, website that I can. So I tried all the tools out there to help me kind of realize what's going on my website and what should I do to make it better. And I tried Google Analytics, I tried SEMrush, I tried SiteImprove, I tried Hotjar, all of these tools, and they just either were all just very clunky and confusing and just really just not user friendly. I mean, a lot of for Google Analytics, for instance, it has a lot of data, but like I've never met anybody that likes it or can kind of draw value from it. So I figured there must be a better way. I also tried working with agencies to kind of fix our website, and that's just all very expensive and time consuming. So I figured there must be a better way. So we decided to, and this was exactly at the same time when AI started to kind of become a buzz. So I'm an engineer myself. So I was like, we have a lot of data and AI is coming about, maybe there's some magic in there. So what we figured is we would create the best freaking awesome website analytics tool in the world. And that's our goal, is to create we have created a tool that not only shows you all the numbers and what you're used to, but also tells you what's going on the website. It highlights what's most important. It lets you know if something is going wrong and interprets the data for you. But most importantly, what it does is it guides your next step. So it gives you suggestions. Oh, this is happening, so you should do this and fix this or add this or change this. And that's all based on data and all our experience from working in the space for over 15 years myself. So we've kind of created a tool that's more like an actual website advisor that guides your step and uses data to inform you than just hey, here's the data, you go and figure it out. So that's what we call ourselves, AI website analytics, instead of just typical website analytics.
That makes sense. A couple of questions that I wanted to kind of ask you from what you just shared there is, you kind of say AI analytics, and then also kind of throwing in Google Analytics obviously as a kind of comparison in kind of your category. My question to you is, there's a lot of players in that space. It is very, very crowded. what is kind of what I would consider, and we'll talk a little bit more about this as we kind of pull up your homepage, but what is sort of your messaging wedge? That's the term I use for, it's like the thing that kind of gets somebody over the hump, that like marketing manager who's overworked, has, doesn't have a data background, but needs these insights. What is the thing that's going to get them over that hump and actually trying out your solution instead of any one of your competitors, or quite frankly, just going through Google Analytics, even though they hate it?
Good question. That's a foundation of our messaging, what you just said there. So, I mean, I would say that whenever I start a conversation with, do you actually like Google Analytics, or does Google Analytics give you a headache, then most people agree with that statement. So everybody knows that problem. They're just they have this love-hate relationship with Google Analytics that they just don't know that there's a better tool out there. The other part of the messaging that really resonate is we're not trying to be for everybody. We're trying to be for B2B. We just know B2B websites incredibly well. They're not, there's a certain, I don't want to say formula for B2B websites, but they're all very, they tend to be similar in format and structure and the same pages. So we just know those websites inside and out. So that's why it was a very good fit for us to kind of go after B2B websites. Also, we're trying to help marketeers, which tend to be the people responsible for websites at B2B companies. And these people are just usually have small teams, like 1 or 2. They're wearing a lot of hats. They didn't go to website school to learn how to make websites or manage websites. They're not often, not used to working with just a lot of data, like data scientists, or don't have access to them. So these people just really want to get a tool that helps them and guides them. And that's exactly what we're trying to do.
Got it. So I'm going to push back a little bit in the nicest way possible. You decided we're not trying to be for everyone, but then you just listed AI analytics, all B2B, all marketers, which is a gigantic subset of the market. Could you niche down and just kind of make your wedge even more specific? You're kind of hinting at it when you said lean teams. Kind of lean marketing teams of, maybe there's only 1 or 2 people in-house. Sure. But like, is there a way you can niche down even more? Because AI analytics for B2B is a massive market. Sure. And if you're a startup, that's going to be very hard to kind of get people away from the incumbent, versus what is that thing like? Can you drill down even more specific into that little thing that you do, or that little thing that's really big to your ICP that you do, that is actually the reason people sign up for you? Yeah,
you're right. It's a huge market, but still, it's better than saying website analytics for everybody.
Oh, absolutely, it's better than saying website analytics for everyone. But I'm just challenging you and be like, can you go a little bit more specific?
Yeah,
I like lean marketing teams. That is more specific, but I'd even challenge you. What's the step beyond that?
I mean, we're focusing on Europe and North America primarily, and we are actually really focusing on like small B2B teams, like 0 to 50 people or 0 to 100 people. And so that's if I wanted to go even more niche, we would say that B2B SaaS companies tend to be the ones that are very interested in us. So it's usually B2B companies that are very small in employees, limited marketing team, and they're trying to grow all over the world. That's kind of our best perfect ICP.
So if I'm going to challenge you even more, so now we're going to get somewhere very specific, which is, what if you say, and you lean into in your website for right now, just on your homepage for right now, and obviously you can change as you get bigger. What if you just say, hey, we are the solution for overworked 1-person marketing teams in B2B with B2B in B2B SaaS? Just say that is your entire niche, and you do not have a data background, but need to have all those insights.
I would be open to saying that. Totally. I actually, the company we worked with to help us with our messaging and positioning on the website, and we could go through it, and it's not holy at all. I'm about to make some changes to it, but he said that his biggest surprise when he works with companies is that when he shows them, what the title or the sub headline is, or headline and sub headline is, and people are like, "Oh, we have to say it who we're for," and I just thought that it was hilarious. But what you just said, we could very well say that on the website as well. We do in up to a certain extent, but not exactly like you described it.
Totally. So my whole kind of spiel across all of these clarity jams, and even when I am literally doing positioning and messaging work for clients directly, is you can never get too clear. Messaging clarity, messaging specificity is how you scale, particularly in my line of work, which is startups, where it's
Yeah.
like, hey, you can and here's the dirty secret is even if you are super, super niche within kind of your homepage and within your messaging, you're still going to potentially reach other people outside of that. But being very specific and being very niche is how you actually really become the biggest fish in a small pond. And then from there, you can start to expand outwards. So with that in mind, do you want to go ahead and pull up your homepage and let's walk through it section by section?
Sure. I just want to say I do totally agree with you. Going niche and just being very clear about what you are, who you're for, and how you're different is the key thing here. I think what everybody wants to do, I'm just going to share my screen here. What everybody's trying at the same time is that balance between clarity and cleverness. And
Yep.
you're always trying to be a little bit clever and fun with your brand or with your messaging. But with a gun to my head, if I had to go clever or clear, I would always choose simple and clear.
So first and foremost, I think what you do extremely well is your design is super clear, super minimal, super fun. Like you can definitely tell. That's awesome. My immediate next thing is I see your website analytics that finally makes sense. And that is completely different than what we just talked about as what is your actual messaging wedge. So could you change that H1 and also even maybe change that subhead below it where you say you're a B2B marketer, not a data scientist, which I actually
Yeah.
like that line with, it's simple and satisfying to make sure your site works like magic. That second line isn't as clear at all. It's maybe a little bit too cutesy, a little bit too clever. Could you
Yeah.
just go out there and just say it, outright and be like, hey, we are the B2B, we are the Google Analytics alternative for overworked solo marketers in small B2B SaaS companies.
Absolutely, and I mean you raise a good point, and there's absolutely things on the website that I do want to change. But when you put up a copy on your website like this, how I think about it is it's a test. It's the ultimate test of your messaging on your front page. It's like there's no hiding from it. People are gonna see it. So from the last 6 months, I've been gathering feedback on what people like and what they don't like, and what they understand and what they don't. And I think there's definitely room for improvement here on, especially maybe on the clarity on the subheadline. So website analytics that finally makes sense. That was us trying to go for clear and clever there. And the goal here is to put the category in there as well. Sometimes you see the category kind of like you see how it says powered by AI there above. Sometimes that's like a category line. But for us, we put it into the headline. So we're saying we are website analytics. And then it finally makes sense part is supposed to be like, hey, you've tried everything else, and here finally is a tool that's easy to use. That's supposed to be implied into that sentence, easy and helpful to use. So that's where that sentence comes from. And then you're a B2B marketeer, not a data scientist. That's where we're speaking. Yes, we're for B2B companies and for marketeers at those companies. I even argued a little bit if we should put marketeer or not, because sometimes, the CEO might, in a very small company, might be responsible for the website. Maybe it's product. I was like, are we alienating some other teams? But I think people will kind of get that this is directed at some kind of revenue function. But so if it's for B2B companies, it's for marketeers, and not a data scientist part is that's where we're saying, hey, usually it's super complicated. Usually it's, time consuming. Usually it's a struggle, but not with us. That's why with Uptize, it's simple and satisfying to make sure your site works like magic. I guess if there's any line that I'm kind of been always like, is this working? Is your site works like magic part? I always have thought, is that clear enough, or is it just too clever?
You're spot on. It's way too clever. It's a cool line. It's just not doing what it could be doing. And
Yeah.
I think your H1 and your subhead particularly you're a B2B marketer, not a data scientist one, is good.
Yeah.
I just
Yeah.
think you can take it a lot further based upon what we discovered over the last 5 minutes, which is, hey, let's just get even more clear and more specific about what our actual wedge is, which is,
Yeah.
hey, we are for the overworked solo marketer in a B2B SaaS company who needs those insights but doesn't have a data background. Lean
Yeah.
into that. It's gonna, that is a strong positioning and a very
Yeah.
strong wedge. Plus, you also already have the logos that definitely tune into right on in your hero section, which is so important. That
Yeah.
are already kind of leaning into that same niche. A couple other
Sure.
things that I could maybe nitpick is you have done what I've now seen across like 10 of these episodes, which is using the word powered by AI. That's
Yeah.
not a category. That's literally what everyone else says, and it literally means nothing. It's the
Yeah.
same thing as saying your site works like magic. Your site is powered by AI. Who cares? Why does that matter? Like, if you're going to lean into AI analytics, explain what is actually going to give this overworked marketer in a small SaaS company.
Yeah.
Explain that instead of powered by AI, which can read as a little bit of a lazy, not particularly helpful category.
Sure. It wasn't supposed to be a category. I just meant that sometimes you see that a category, the category defined in that same location. But you're right. Everybody says we're powered by AI, AI this, AI that. So I guess it was. What we figured is like we use AI a lot in our tool and internally, and we just felt like if we didn't say it, we were not one of the cool kids because like everybody in the market was saying it. So we felt like it needs to be, somewhere, but maybe this isn't the best place for it.
Agree. Unless you are literally selling to tech dinosaurs, um, everyone's going to assume that your software has AI baked in. You don't need to say powered by AI anymore. That
Yeah.
mattered in November of 2022 when ChatGPT came out. Now we are recording this at the end of September of 2025. And this will probably go live about a month after that,
Mm-hmm.
or so after that. But yeah, that it's pretty much implied now. Instead of saying powered by AI or AI assisted, just go ahead
Yeah.
and say, we use AI to help you get really powerful insights that do X, Y, and Z or something like that. So that is actually giving people what they actually care because they aren't just going to care that it's just AI.
Sure. Sure. That makes sense.
Yeah. Another thing that I almost wonder is you're a startup. So I wonder why one of the advantages that you have that Google Analytics doesn't have. And if you want to pull up your screen again.
Yeah, I'm just trying to scroll down here.
What you have here in the hero section is,
Yeah.
just keep it back in the hero. Yeah.
Yeah.
So one of the things that I wonder is like you're a startup and you have advantages that Google Analytics doesn't, which is you can kind of be more kind of personality forward, a little bit more leaning into being a founder and things like that. So why are you going with the screenshot or kind of excuse me, like the stock imagery instead of using some sort of demo video explaining your product or even sharing a little bit more about why you built this company and like who it's for? You can kind of do those things and add that personality and kind of use that as a competitive advantage that Google Analytics or a bigger Google Analytics alternative can't do.
That's a great question, and the answer to that is simply that we just haven't done it yet. We have been building a lot of content. We are still a young company, so what we've been doing with the website is learning what works on it and works doesn't, while we have been building out the product and getting customer feedback and trying to get to product market fit. So what we're kind of actually just working on right now is we've been developing explainer videos, more visuals. So we're about to change out this pretty lady for something way more maybe applicable to the product. But I mean, it's also a matter of taste, what you put into the hero. I don't like all websites to have just a product in the website. I like a human element to it. So, but one thing I do know is we do miss more product stuff in there for sure. It's still a little bit unclear, I think, what exactly we're claiming we are and what we do. So that is exactly what I was about to sharpen in the next, few weeks and months.
Yeah, you're thinking about it exactly right. And I've literally seen SaaS websites point money from the bootstrap side of things by
Yeah.
literally just recording a little bit more polished Loom video of them just walking through their story about what they built and just explaining the product in like
Yeah.
2 to 5 minutes. Like
Yeah.
maybe don't record this in 5 minutes, but like, take a day or two to script it out. But like that will literally print money and gives you a competitive advantage that Google Analytics can't do.
Yeah, you're right. I think if I had to do something right now, if we didn't have these cool videos coming out soon, I would probably just record myself on Loom going through the product. But the thing is, when you're in product development, sometimes the product changes drastically, and it has actually, like over the last months, we have just made major strides in changing the user experience of the product. So that if I had done it a couple of months ago, it would have been super dated, but still, it might still have been better to just put something, out there. So yeah, it's I think what every company probably goes through when they do a website is like they're trying to make themselves look too good, and sometimes it's just about being real and clear.
Totally. Having a little bit of imperfections can actually go a long way and actually help out conversions in my
Yeah.
understandings. And then also like an explainer video, like a Loom, is pretty easy to record. Does it kind of suck to have to record it once every 3 months or once every 2 months? Yeah. But like, why not just kind of set a deadline where it's like, hey, I'm just going to record this. I'm going to take, 2 or 3 days to get it to be good enough,
Yeah.
post it up. And then, at the end of Q4, I'm going to go look and see, has our product changed a lot since then? Let's go ahead and re-record it again. But at that point, you're kind of iterating. And until the point you have like massive customers and like massive reach and very, very horizontal, you can keep doing that for a very long time. And that's going to help you kind of stay relevant and keep conversions really high.
Totally right, and you raised some really good points. Also, like for us as a website analytics tool, we feel like we do need to, we should have a really good website that's clear and we like drink our own Kool-Aid and all that. So that's you make some really good points.
Totally, and then if you want to scroll down to the next section.
Yeah, let me see.
So I kind of see in the next section, you're kind of talking about what I'd consider kind of the main problems. I really like this. You're explaining what the problems are. You kind of do exactly what a really good homepage does, which is you have your hero section, which in this case, you have the more refined wedge from what I'm calling it. Then you're going straight into some social proof to kind of showcase, hey, we actually have customers using this. Now you go into the narrative of explaining the problems. I like it. Scroll down to the next section.
Yep, I also think
of explaining your solution. So you're starting to do this, but then you kind of wait, you're backtracking, and you have even more social proof that's completely buried about Fortune, Wall Street Journal, Sifted, and Tech, which I would actually just put directly into that scroll bar up top. And then why do you even have the statistics? Like these don't even tell you anything. They're not adding anything to the solution. If anything, it's just creating micro friction.
Okay, I mean, so you're right. I think about the website and Legos as well. So it's like the hero section explaining, who we are, who we're for, and how we're different. And then we go directly into problem statement. And then, yes, this area here, it might be too much of a spaghetti right now.
Just get rid of it. Like you don't need it. Like it's doing absolutely nothing for you. And I bet you, if anything, if you were to do more user testing, people are either skipping right past it or they're not even going to click get started, because they don't actually need to be sold that. Like you're not adding anything into it. And then those featured logos, I would just put those in with the social proof.
On top?
Yeah.
You don't think
it's like you might have to rework the design a little bit, but like it's in a weird spot right now.
I often see kind of like company logos on top and then the press logos a little bit further down. But yeah, I mean, it makes sense to put them together. I just like, design wise, I don't want it to be too busy, but yeah, that makes sense. But yeah, the metrics is something that I use a lot when I'm talking to people, and it's kind of explaining how freaking important the website is. But yeah, maybe nobody is making like that, maybe doesn't work on a website and more in sales pitch, but it seems to resonate with people when I talk to them about it. It's like, hey, did you know that actually B2B buyers, 80% of them, they want to buy on your freaking website, not on on Instagram or at a conference or on a call. They want to do it on your website. So maybe it doesn't make sense to put it there. Yeah, it's a good point.
This way to me is almost like what I see as a super guilty, particularly from a technical founder or a founder who's kind of lived this pain point like you have. That you have a marketing background as to why is like you're so used to it that you're almost overselling. And like those other points, that problem statement you have above does that well enough that you don't necessarily need those statistics. just get right into the solutions, which I know you do in the next section.
Okay, I like it. It's a good tip.
Yeah, so now you have sections. Now you're getting into what I'd consider, you have your wedge. Now we're getting into the solution and what I call your wow moments. So I like to think about it when I'm writing our homepage copy. I think about the wedge up top in the hero section. And now you have the problem solution right below it. And now you have your wow moments, which is here's all the things besides the wedge that gets you into the door. Here's the things that are going to kind of wow them and keep them around and keep them wanting to use your product over and over again. So you have that now with each one of those sections, and you can just kind of scroll past all of these. Yeah, these make a lot of sense. Scroll down. Scroll down. Okay, now you have social proof. I like this. I wonder if you could do 3 of these, or so you have it a little bit more shined up, or if you can start to so like kind of infuse them here, and then infuse them again right before your FAQs.
All right, let's talk about that. There's actually there's a scroller on it, so so there are more here behind it. I thought there was a timer on this, to tell you the truth, but so there's more people here behind it. How would you infuse it again?
I like the design of this, but I'm a big believer in like the rule of 3s. It really, in my experience, converts better. So I would have 3 of them visible here, and then have 3 of them visible again. Right before the FAQ section.
Okay. So
and then you're just kind of anchoring this. And I really like this section where you're talking about, is the product right for you?
Yeah.
This makes a ton of sense. Kudos, it's well designed. I like it. It seems like you're going right after kind of your main objections and the main kind of value props of your product. So keep this as is.
Okay, cool.
Same thing with this. I think maybe I like this section as well. You're kind of further adding in what I consider those wow moments about your product. I do think, however, that here's how we make website analytics spark joy is maybe a little bit too cutesy. Can you kind of tie it a little bit back to your wedge? Because I'm not really sure that your overworked marketing manager with, no data background is gonna feel moved by spark joy in the same way that we're to like actually try out your product. There's probably a better way to say that.
You know what you're doing, Jessica, because all the points that you're you're picking at here are something that was very heavily debated when we did this. We did hire a company to help us with this, and spark joy was something that was stuck in my throat a little bit when we did it, and all the other points that you've kind of mentioned were heavily discussed. So at the end of the day, you need to test it out and see what works. But I think, now that when I look at it, spark joy is a little bit too cutesy. I think that's a very good way to maybe maybe just be a little bit. Also, when you're talking about how it actually works, is it spark joy? But it's a good one. I think I'm going to think about this one in particular. But yes, it's very good. This is very good timing for this podcast, to tell you the truth, because I'm about to go and do a little bit of a reshine on the website. So very good to get your input on it.
I would even challenge you, instead of spark joy, and even go a step further, which is powerful insights without a data background. When you're an overworked marketer in a lean SaaS team, what those insights actually empowering you? Like, what can you even go a step further and say, like, hey, you're going to get insights way faster? Or can you even say, like, to get insights to do what? Like, what are those action items? So instead of even that headline, I can even see that being basically almost like a 3-parter where it's like, here's how we make website analytics do X, Y, and Z.
Mm-hmm.
Now you're getting specific. Now you're winning into clarity, messaging clarity. And now you're also going to get a lot more conversions and you can still have personality with it without it being cutesy or overly clever.
That makes perfect sense.
Scroll down.
Same
thing with outcome remove, rework the whole thing where we said we work backstage, you stole the show. Again, cutesy. Probably if anything, it's probably the same way along as spark joy and like magic. You're kind of underselling yourself and also making it seem like not as powerful as it really is.
That's a good point. I mean, we've thought exactly that. Maybe it looks, we were trying to make it like, hey, everything is so simple and easy, but maybe it's too much, play-mo, and you don't take it seriously enough.
Honestly, if you even wanted to go even a step further, if you want to lean into that fun brand, which you're clearly doing, and actually think your design does it in a very good way, you can probably still do that, but lean into like really smart marketer memes, not like cutesy language, like it's like magic or we steal the show. You can do this, and you can still do that, but you can do it in ways that are just a little bit more kind of tongue in cheek.
Yep. Agreed.
And that probably will resonate really, really well with your audience without undermining what your product actually does.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Scroll down.
Yes, ma'am.
I like it. Like your resource section. This makes a lot of sense. No notes here. You always want to have that. If people aren't ready to get started, you have a place for them to go. Scroll down.
Yep.
And then the final, okay, my other section to you is why the cat photo. I like cats. What does it have to do with your newsletter? And then also, is there a better thing you can say than the latest tips and trends? Like, what is your actual email list? Like, can you promise them something or make it be something that, is enticing to just your company or your point of view as a founder or your point of view as the team instead of just stay ahead of the curve?
I think we could definitely improve this and be more specific. Sometimes you're just trying to limit the number of words you're using, but I think it's time to freshen this up with a little bit more specific of what people get in our newsletter, and stay out of the curve is very generic. I agree with you there. We can definitely get more specific now that I know more what people are looking for and what our audience is. But the cat, to tell you the truth, we just loved the cat. So we just, there was no reason. We just thought it was fun, and it just came up in a lot in our branding exercise. So we just kind of loved having it there. So that's why it's there.
Yeah. Okay. In that case, lean into it a little bit more into the newsletter. Make it have some sort of cat coin, cat theme, something in it, so it doesn't just look like a random cat photo next to a newsletter. There's like so many things you could probably do there to just make it just a little bit more fun without it kind of reading as, why is there a random cat on my homepage?
That makes sense. I guess, I was supposed to be trying to be, clever or some kind of quirkiness, but maybe there's a way to work more with it. That's true.
And then scroll down. Now, I love FAQs. My question to you, and the biggest thing I see now, and the biggest thing I do when I write FAQs for my clients as well, is your FAQ should not just be filler questions or like a support FAQ. It actually should be handling your biggest objections. I don't know if you're doing that here. You kind of hinted at it as like why you're different from the average analytics tool, but but then you also go into what exactly is the company, what are insights, which are just complete filler. Works great if it's an FAQ, knowledge base article. Doesn't really work as well for a homepage. My challenge to you is, what are the 3 biggest objections that people have that keep them from signing up to becoming a customer? And can you just put that specifically into each one of those questions so they are actually objection killers, not just word fillers?
I think you're right on the money there. The reason we have it, actually, I just personally have never been a fan of FAQs. I just feel like they mess up the design of a website. But the reason it's there is actually for AI engines. How ChatGPT uses FAQs to kind of rank websites and products and services. So that was the main reason we put it there. But I think there's definitely opportunity to make these questions more specific to for both the AI engines and to what the audience and target audience is actually thinking and what they need to hear, or my questions they might be popping in their head.
Yeah, and unlike you, I actually love FAQs. I think they work really, really well on the homepage for conversion, but only if you're really, really brutal and really, really clear about figuring out what are the kind of the core value props of your product and what are the 3 reasons that people do not choose you, either for the status quo, which in this case is probably Google Analytics, or just other objections on why they're not actually choosing you. Put that in, and then suddenly your FAQ section looks way clearer.
Yeah, wow. I feel like I really want to. You've inspired me now to really, just as a kick in the butt to go and just do a lot of things I've been kind of thinking for a while for now with the website. So you really inspired me to do that. I think we should do another one of these in 6 months or something, and I'll show you what I ended up with and what I've learned since then.
Totally. I can't wait to see what you're going to come back with. Anything else before we wrap up?
Not really. Well, actually, one thing, yes. I mean, we're just trying to really help B2B companies out there. So if they want to test it out, they can go to our website and go sign up for the free trial. They get a score for their website buyer's journey, and they get insights and actions and suggestions on how to improve their website immediately. But the other thing I really wanted to share is we are actually launching something called the B2B Website Awards, and we're on the hunt now for the best B2B website in the world. We got a pretty impressive panel of judges from Lovable and Clay and a lot of Scroll Labs. I don't know if you know Taz Popper, she's one of the judges. So we are. We're about to launch it. So when this episode comes out, go to b2bwebsiteawards.com if you want to apply and put in your website, and we'll be announcing the winner in the best website award, best website B2B website in the world in beginning of December.
I love it. I will definitely make sure to link to your website for people to try it out, and ideally even this kind of website awards thing, which sounds really cool, directly in the podcast. Thank you so much.